Welcome to Champion Stepdad Podcast. We are exploring the unique role of stepdads and how to apply performance psychology skills to become better father figures and role models. Building a band of brothers by focusing on empathy and accountability. Empathy because being a stepdad is tough. Accountability because I get it, being a stepdad is tough, but you chose this role, so do it as best you can. My name is Neil Wattier. In addition to a stepdad, I'm also a resilience trainer and a performance consultant, encouraging you to join the Champion Stepdad Facebook group, get involved, and grow your band of brothers. I wasn't able to record an episode last week due to a significant fight with flu symptoms. I wasn't feeling up to it, and I don't think that you would have wanted to listen to me, to my weak and wheezing voice anyway. So this week, I'm going to double up and keep us on track. So I'll release 2 episodes, but keeping each episode focused on one of the 7 C's of resilience, which we are walking through to not only understand how to develop resilience, but also understand and connect with others as they work through their own stress and adversity. I believe the role of father figure is very close to that of a sport coach. While you're in a position to direct the development and behavior of others, your ability to influence healthy and productive development through a coaching relationship requires you to give up the desire for control of what you can't, and maybe you shouldn't be trying to control. We talked about the closely related but unique components of confidence and competence, as well as the importance of building relationships through connection. This episode is dedicated to character. Character is the collection of traits and qualities which make you distinct from others. It's mental and moral qualities. Some people might describe it as, a good character that includes trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, citizenship, those type of traits. It's also been described as fruit of the spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. As it relates to resilience, character is the proactive vision of yourself. It's identifying who you want to be and what you stand for, and then determining what outward behaviors and actions would demonstrate this vision. You proactively determine your behaviors, and you ensure that your thoughts, beliefs, morals, and values reflect this image, and this holistic picture ends up being demonstrated as character. When working with young athletes, I put them through what I call the Sports Illustrated article exercise. I asked them to imagine a few years into the future at a point where, maybe that whatever that next level is, or the next couple levels, or where they want to be. They're going to be playing at that next very high level of maybe major college program or a professional sport, for an organization that invites newsworthy attention. If someone were to observe them on and off the playing surface with a follow-up article in a major publication like Sports Illustrated, what would this author write about just by observing outward behaviors? Character is not reflected by your intentions. It's reflected by your actions. What is the result? What are your behaviors? How do you treat others? How do you perform through stress and adversity? Sometimes it's not even the outcome, it's the behavior during stress and adversity, during challenge. And that idea of, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is so wrong. And if you're a longtime listener, you've heard me talk about this numerous times. What doesn't kill you does not automatically make you stronger. It might make you weaker. You grow by facing your struggles, by performing critical self-analysis and deliberately developing yourself and working toward the best possible outcome. Remembering that the best possible outcome, when looking specifically as your role as a father figure, is not always what you desire as an outcome or what you desire to control. That's why I love the coaching analogy. Be a principled leader who helps others experience life, help them learn, and help them grow through their own experiences and through their own life. One of my mentors once told me, live out of principle, not preference, because principles are morals and values you can fall back on when you face stress and adversity. Preferences change with circumstances and emotions. So the idea is to figure out who you want to be. That way, you know the behaviors, the demonstrated behaviors and the outcomes that demonstrate the character that you want to show people, the life that you want to live and the person that you want to be. So you don't respond emotionally, you act through principles by building a solid foundation that begins with yourself. Know who you want to be and intentionally develop yourself. And only then will you be in a position to be the most help to others. As a parent or as somebody who's involved in any community, don't fall into the transactional trap. As you know, the sport coaching analogy is, don't treat your players with favor just because they perform well or just because they win. It's the effort that they put in, accepting the fact that they're going to make mistakes and there's going to be losses, and that's all part of the growth process. So putting that coaching analogy into being a father figure, you have to work on that connection, and you have to work on your character and allow yourself to support your children and your spouse, the other people that you love, that if they act, behave, or produce, they're given love regardless of if it falls short, as long as they are seeking not only the best of what they can do, but just as a young child, they're going to explore their environment. And sometimes they're going to be really annoying. My 8-year-old stepson just loves to talk and talk and talk and talk, and just sometimes absolutely drives me crazy, but it's part of who he is. And if I want to build his character, I have to accept that's part of who he is. So my challenge is to allow that to happen and encourage it. He's exploring his environment. And it's not giving love, attention, and reinforcement only when they do things that you want them to do, or act the way that you want them to act. Ultimately, character development requires exploration. It requires self-reflection and intentional development. And only as you get older do you appreciate the intentional development. In a younger child, they want the safety and security of a loving relationship and a loving home where they can explore. That is building character in them. So again, building yourself and knowing who you want to be so that you're putting yourself in a position so you can better support them. The goal is productive development, not perfection. So not falling victim to the transactional trap. The goal is productive development. Don't miss an opportunity to teach and connect because you're overly focused on punishment or perfection or quiet, or they're not doing the things that you want them to do. If you have that focus, you're going to miss the opportunity for connection and development. Be a leader in your family. Lead your family through mental, physical, and emotional development every day. And that starts with you. Inspire them to do their best. Working with athletes, I have to remind them at the top of their, shooting for the top of their performance level, effort, and results, that perfection is an illusion. It's unattainable. Emphasis on perfection is a barrier to healthy, productive development. When you're talking about athletic performance or behavior at home, the focus should be on consistent learning, the drive for excellence over time. Another aspect relevant to character is consistency. I was raised in a very highly volatile, emotionally reactive home, and it was very difficult to know what to expect. It created a barrier to communication and connection. I didn't go to my parents or my brothers for support because it wasn't reliable. I didn't know what I was going to get. So therefore I gave up on going to them. I went to other sources, and sometimes It was myself, because I didn't have a source of connection and support, reliable connection and support. So being consistent in your behavior and emotional control allows others, such as your children, to confidently explore their world, to be themselves, to make mistakes, and grow confidently, knowing you will be there to help. I once heard parenting compared to the edge of a swimming pool, a consistent, reliable, supportive barrier. All the fun is inside the pool, away from the edge. Kids are going to run and play. They're going to jump into the deep end. They're going to challenge their abilities and swim and splash, knowing that there's that side barrier, the edge of the pool, that they can always rely on as a safe support if they become scared or tired. Knowing there's a reliable edge allows them to further experience challenge and growth. So be present, knowing you might feel used and underappreciated, but it's your consistent love, support, and encouragement that may be immediately underappreciated, but in the long term, you will be known as the strong, reliable, principle-driven, character-based foundation that others can consistently rely upon. Thank you for listening to the Champion Stepdad podcast. I have 2 tasks for you to take this week. First, choose one action from today's conversation to implement in your life. Second, share this podcast and community with someone who wants to become a better stepdad. I appreciate your direct message feedback and would appreciate your online review of the podcast. Your honest rating and review helps me improve the show and helps others find our community. Thanks and have a great week.